Hi there everybody, it's Verity here from inkybutterfly.wordpress.com. Thank you for joining me today. And today we're making a variation of this card here. Bit of a different layout, trying to do something different with designer series paper. So yeah, we're going to make this. This features the Berry Blessings bundle, which is a Sale-a-bration item. And that actually is one of the items that you can get for free with a £90 order. So the Berry Blessings stamp set looks like this. So it is a two-step stamp, and I've used that to make the topper there, and we've got some nice sentiments too. So it's a nice stamp set with lots of elements, and it comes with this stunning designer series paper. Okay, so all sort of fruit. So we've got blueberries, raspberries and strawberries. Some little blooms on there as well. Some really, really cute fruit paper. And on reverse we've got some more sort of generic-y kind of things as well. So there's lots to be playing with, okay, and it's a full pack of paper, so you get the usual 6 designs, 2 of each, and they are double-sided as you've just seen. So it's a really good value paper pack and stamp set, and you'll get it for free with a £90 order, which I think is just flipping amazing, really. So so that's what we're using, and like I say, this is the layout we're going for. We're going to change it up though, so that I can use some of my favourite colours, and we're going to pull out this piece of designer series paper with these sort of raspberries on. I haven't cut this down yet, so we'll bring in the trimmer. I haven't brought the trimmer onto the desk for a while, just to show you some of the features it's got. So we have our clear bar here, which will hold down your paper into place. Convenient hook if you would like to hang it up. The markings are really, really nice and clear on a very smooth surface, and they're at the top, the middle, and they're replicated at the bottom as well, both in metric and in imperial. So depending on what your preference is, you've got something there. It comes with 2 blades. The dark blade does the cutting, and this grey blade does the scoring. You're very unlikely to ever have to replace that, so that just sort of sits there, and it's like it's just got like a curved metal blade. It's almost like the end of a paper clip in there, so that sort of sits there and does its thing. And the blades come as a pack of 4 if you want replacement blades. There is a tiny little arrow on the blade there. Okay, so when I load a new blade, I always put it with the arrow up, and I always sort of cut up towards this butt bar. There's a butt bar at the bottom as well, and then when that side gets dull, I take it out and I twist it round, and there's a little slot at the bottom. There's like this little divot where the blade will kind of pull out if you pull it down. So you just sort of heel toe it out, which I can't do quickly right now this minute. They're really, really easy to change, but they are really, 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 really sharp. So that's that. So this paper then, so our background is going to be the full width of a card, which is 4 inches. I've already cut this down, by the way, to 5 3/4, which is the usual height for a stamp layer. Isn't that lovely? It's almost like I don't know, it feels like it could be like dragon skin or something. And then this one we're cutting down to 2 1/2. That's going to be our sort of feature panel, if you like. If you wanted to, you could swap that round. So we've got a nice chunk left over for something else. So that's that trimming done. Oops, a daisy. Crash banging everything. So the idea is that they're going to layer together, but we're going to put, if you just layer them on top of each other, they sort of merge in a bit, so we need a bit of layering on there. But don't forget, you could turn this inside out and do it this way instead if you wanted to. Okay, so you can choose which layout you prefer. So that's my designer series paper, 4" and a 2.5" at 5 3/4. I've already got a rich raspberry card base, so we can stick that on the front of there. That's going to be ready to go. And then this piece of rich raspberry is 2 3/4, so we get the nice border, but it's the same height, so it's going to be flush at the ends, but we'll just have the border along the edge. Okay, so let's put those elements together, and then they are done. So there's nothing complicated about any of this. I'm showing you different layouts with designer series paper, and I'm trying to use more designer series paper because we've got so much of it in the catalogue that's just absolutely stunning. I'm definitely trying to use more of it. Okay, so here we go onto our card base. Don't know which way up we want that really. Let's do it that way up. I'm not sure it matters that much. Personal preference. So line up your 3 margins at the bottom and the top and bottom there, the bottom of the card, and then as long as you get that top edge right, it should just fall into place. And with a top folding card, you want your crease to be really sharp so that it doesn't split on you when you stand it up. So that stands up beautifully. And this piece we want flush at the bottom, as flush as it can be. It's always a fraction of error when you're trimming down cardstock, because it depends whether you cut on the line, next to the line. So any little overhangs you can just snip off with a good sharp pair of scissors, and that's going to go on the top of our card like so. And you can do it flat. I did it with dimensionals just because I like having some extra lift to cards. I think it just adds something without necessarily being overly fussy. I'll put a couple in the middle there. Okay, so that is the structure of our card done, and then we just need to do our topper. This one does, most of the raspberries are sort of the right up, if you know what I mean, with the little what are those called, the little tops. So I'm just making sure that that's looks like it's the right way up, and we're going to position this in the middle. Now there's nothing to stop you actually offsetting this. You could put it over here, but we're going for in the middle ish, she says. You could be, of course, there is some grid paper under me that I could be using to help me line that up, but I've decided on winging it apparently, and that's not quite in the middle, but you know, handmade, right? That was so intentional that it was going to be off to the right. Okay, there we go, base of our card is done. Okay, so we've got another scrap of rich raspberry and some white that we're going to do some stamping on. So our sentiment then, I've pulled out the coordinating ink. So we've got rich ras, we've got garden green, And I've also pulled out Blackberry Bliss because I thought that would be a nice contrasting but complementary colour. That's a contradiction in terms, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's another colour to pull in that will fit in with the rest of the colour scheme. Okay, so this will just make that sort of lift out and come out from the background a little more by using that darker colour, and plus I love it. It's one of my favourite colours, Blackberry Bliss. So there we are with that. You should see my desk. I tell you what, this catalogue, I don't know, the brain cells have just gone a bit crackers, and I've got stuff all over the place because I just want to do stuff all the time. Then I'm going to bring in the little raspberry stamps from the set, so there's like an outline image and a sort of colouring in image, if you like. So we'll go with the outline first and put those in place, and they're going to go sort of here, and maybe one over here. Okay, so we're sort of framing our sentiment, and then when we die cut it, we'll have elements of it poking in, and it's easier to do it like this, in my opinion. And it is just my opinion. If you want to die cut it first and then stamp over the edges, that's totally fine, but I just like to do it this way. I just find it easier. Right, so we're going to fill in the berries, but what we'll do is we're going to stamp off once, and we're going to do 1 and 2, and then we'll do another one. I think we might do that on the second generation as well. So we've got a bit of variation in the colour without going crazy. Just cleaning these off. The red and pink inks really do stain photopolymer stamps quite quickly, so I just like to get them nice and clean before that ink sort of soaks in too much. And then we'll bring in garden green for the foliage. So again, that's a 2-step element. So we'll do the outline first. I guess we should be trying to put those somewhere near the stems of the not the stems, what do you call it? You know, like the tops of the berries and whatever. But you know what? It's your card, you can do what you like. I just want to frame my sentiment and add some interest to that die cut. That's all I'm going for right now. Okay, so it's all framing up quite nicely, and again what we'll do is we will stamp off the fill in image. This is quite a juicy ink pad, so I do it twice. Just hover over the top. Photopolymer is brilliant for this, because you can just see straight through it. Okay, take your time, hover over the top when you're happy, you've got it lined up, press it down. It's just take your time with it if it's not something that you've done before. Again, let's see, I'm just holding it above, right above the card, and then press it down when I'm happy. Okay, there we go. So we've got a real fun kind of decorated sentiment, if you like. And like I say, if some people might find that wasteful doing it like that, but it means now that I can just go put that over the top, and I know it's just going to look quite natural, if you know what I mean. It feels like there's gaps in the corners, but do you know what? I ain't going to worry too much about it. It might actually turn out better. The lovely edge because I've used coordinating cardstock, kind of blends in a little bit, so actually having some white areas around the edge might actually lift that out slightly, so I'm not going to panic about that. I'm just going to tack this into place with some old washi tape there, and our scrap of Rich Raz we'll have with that one. These are the Stitch So Sweetly dies. I've just got them on this convenient magnetic thing because I basically use them all the time. And you get these lovely labels, but you also get these lovely scalloped stitched rectangles. And so you can see there I'm using number 2 and number 3 for the sentiment. They seem to fit quite nicely. Of course, you could use some other punches or whatever it is you've got in your stash that will do the job for you. So putting these onto my big boss, getting those die cut, and they both fit on the plate, so they'll go through in one pass, like so. So there we are. Or at least they would if I'd have put them all the way through the thingy. I'll sort that out in a second. So there we are, that's our lovely die cut piece. Let's take that away before it gets distracting. Oh, I need that, don't I? If your die hasn't quite gone through, so it must have just missed the edge of that. So if you just slot it back in over the die, just cleaning my plate off. Oh, that's moved. But you'll feel it slot back in onto the cardstock, and then you can just run it through the corner through again. Well, you'd never tell. There we go. And then we can just stick that on with our tear and tape. Like so. And that actually, yeah, that the extra bit of white on those corners actually does make that pop quite a bit more. So actually I'm quite pleased with how that's turned out. And this is going to go onto the card with tape too, because we've already raised up the panel. So you've got options there. You could put this panel flat, then raise this on dimensionals. But I opted to raise my panel, and I'm going to just stick this one on flat. And because I stuck that panel on wonky, the whole thing looks wonky if I do it like that. So we might just shuffle that over a little bit, but you try and do yours straight, right? That's if you want. Okay, rightio. I like that one. I like that one. It's nice we've got blue, this Pacific Point in the in this paper as well, though, because I don't think Pacific Point sort of features that much in a lot of the crafting and everything. And I do like Rich Raspberry, another colour that I don't see used that much. So those are 2 of those, and of course with the other patterns in the paper pack, you could do all sorts of these, and with the different patterns, complementary, contrasting, whatever you want. And yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed that. So the details are down below of the bundle I've used, but it is something that you can only get when you purchase when you place an order of £90 or more. Okay, thanks ever so much, everybody. Hope you've enjoyed that. Take care, stay safe. I'll see you again soon.